baby, I don't feel so So I've been trying to think of things to talk about in my videos that are more personal and more insightful to my life and who I am, just for my own reflection and for people out there who want to watch and who care. And I think that I've been avoiding talking about it ever since it happened, just because it was so significant in my life that I felt like I wasn't processing it. I still don't quite feel like I've processed it, but I want to talk a little bit about the breakup in 2019 that completely scarred me and traumatized me in ways that I'm still working on healing from, which is kind of crazy because it's the end of 2021 and I'm still not completely healed from the struggles and the drama that I went through when I was 19. When I was a freshman in college, I met this boy and we were really, really good friends. We were like best friends. Conversation was easy. He was really funny and super wholesome, really, like a himbo kind of, very much like you just wanted to take care of him. And I would learn later why. So we were friends from like October until February, and in February he finally decided to make a move. So one night I was in his room and we were just hanging out and he kissed me. And that night it was a little overwhelming for me and I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Because up until that point I was never really physical with anyone unless I had a deep connection with them. And I was like, okay, do you want to be my boyfriend? And he said yes. We dated throughout that summer. I went and visited his family and him in San Antonio, and he visited me and my family in Colorado. And that was new to me. It was very serious in my eyes. Hi, mister. So, sorry if he's a little distracting. He's so cute. So we get back to school sophomore year, and already off the bat I can tell that things are kind of different. So I was feeling more neglected and I was feeling tired of constantly having to tell him how I wanted him to treat me. And one weekend I had to go to Omaha for a basketball volunteer event. And I get a text that night, because we were all going to stay in Omaha. I get a text that night and he says that we need to talk when I come home. So I kind of knew what was happening. I stopped at Walmart and picked him up some like cookies that he likes and brought him by in the hopes that he wouldn't dump me. And he dumped me and I was really mad. And it was super unfamiliar feeling. I just had never really cared so deeply for someone and planned a future with someone the way that I had with him, and all of a sudden it was over. He didn't give me any reasons. He was basically saying, I'm 20, I want to live my life. So I took that as like, he wants to see other people. And that wasn't necessarily the case at the time, but that's what I pretty much drew conclusions to. And then the next 2 years would consist of us periodically talking again, talking about being in a relationship again, and then him ending it for 2 years. Hooking up on the side, seeing other people, and he just really took advantage of me in ways that I wouldn't let other people ever take advantage of me. He always drew me in by how sweet he was to me and how caring he was. I mistook that care for real care, not just like a manipulation tactic, which is what it was. The reason I fell in love with him was because I saw his inner child, that sweet, caring, helpless boy. So I would do things like cook him dinner, do his dishes, do his homework, just wanting to like nurture that inner child that I saw, which was ultimately really detrimental for me. And to this day, the damages are reflected in my current relationship, and I'm still working on healing from it. And that's really not the whole story. Maybe one day I'll go more into depth. But basically, I got dumped after thinking I was going to marry this boy, and part of me still wonders if this is part of like the ultimate story or if it's the end. And I want it to be the end because I want to not care, and I want to like not be in love with this kid who broke my heart and doesn't give a shit. I'm definitely healed much more from it now than I was when it first happened in the first year and a half following. But we're coming up on 3 years from the date that we started dating, and that is pretty difficult for me to deal with just because there's so much history there. But I'm curious and nostalgic about the entire situation. And when the leaves change, it's really difficult for me because that's when we met, and the fall is when we broke up, and that's just really hard for me to kind of not associate those feelings with this season.